Hello everyone, I'm Psychotic, and that's also my screen name. Welcome back for episode 7 of our Boron playthrough. Today we're going to try to explore what our diplomatic agents can do and touch off a war or two to help us expand. Now, I have to admit, I may have jumped the gun a little bit here. In the early stages of our poll, it looked like the overview was going to win for stations, so I started recording under that premise. It turns out that detailed build is actually winning now, so I was trying to get a little ahead on the recordings because we're going to be painting the room that I record in, and I don't want to disrupt the schedule of uploads for you guys in case I can't record for a week. So I've been trying to get a little bit ahead. What I did for the recording is I took several hours to pre-build all of the stations that we were going to need in Boron space, and then I didn't wait for any of them to finish building. I just built them all as wireframes, and then I set up some traders for the 4 required materials to buy and sell on repeat order to each station in sequence. And then I turned off all of the notifications so that it wouldn't kick me out of SATA and let it run all night. So with SATA, 10 minutes is an hour. So leaving it run for 8 hours is the equivalent to letting it run for 48. And I did save beforehand just in case something went horribly wrong, as could happen. The next morning, since I'd prioritized the stations that made the parts for stations, I modified the buy orders a little bit, saved again, and let it run during the day as well. It was a little bit of a calculated gamble letting it run 4 days real time. The Xenon got a little further out of hand than I'd hoped, but they didn't really push into any of our territory, so it's not really a big deal. The upside is all of our Boron stations are finished, and we have fleets now. The downside is the vote wanted detailed builds, but I didn't record the building process. Don't despair, because the 2 of the systems that we're looking at starting wars for as our next goal are to set up new station networks and expand our web of influence. So I will try to include the build process on those as we expand. If you guys learn anything useful today, or if you have a good time, please don't be afraid to drop a like. If you're feeling friendly, maybe go ahead and subscribe. But either way, let's go ahead and get into it. Alrighty, so here we are. Now, one of the things that I did do is set up our stations here, like I was saying in the intro. So we've got everything set up to build ourselves fleets. They're all producing for the shipyard. I also set up a small fleet of ships. They are 1 trader and 2 send to protect it for each of these 16 materials. And they are set up to repeat order trade, first to the Boron shipyard, and then to our trade station down here. So they will always try to fill up the station first. If the station is full, then they will go to the trade station if the shipyard is full. And then the shipyard, if we look at our logistical overview, it is mostly full. Obviously has a lot of different lines going a lot of different places. So we have 2 fab bays for extra large, 2 fab bays for large, a crap ton of fab bays for small and medium, and then repairs for all of the above. And then the materials required to maintain a workforce. So around 2,000 go to the maintenance of these and the bays. The rest of the 10,000 are strictly to pull from for filling ships with crew. I know some people say that it's random what crew you get from your own shipyards. That is not actually true. What crew you get from your shipyards depends on what habitats you have there. So we've got a crap ton of boron habitats. We will only get borons into our ships. I also had to set up, because we had some piracy issues over here, I lost a couple of medium trade ships. So we've got 3 fleets for protection. So these are all the station resupply. There's 16 of those. There we go, station defense. So we've got 1 that's protecting the stations. We've got 1 that's protecting the shipyard. And then we've got 1 that is protecting these guys up here. And each one of these is just a katana and 2 Takobas outfitted to take out pirates, basically. They're set to defend area. We are looking at expanding into 2 different areas. We are looking at Sagaris, because if we look at the encyclopedia entry, it has decent sunlight, almost 200%. It's got helium, hydrogen, and methane, and it has ice, ore, and silicon. It has everything we need to make a perfect setup. Our setup up here is not necessarily perfect. It's safe. Sagaris sees a lot more activity than the back end of Boron does. And back here, between these 3, we have everything that we need. We have the sunlight here. We have most of the ores and gases here. The last gas here. And everything between these we're good with 1 jump. So we have helium, ore, and silicon, 271 sunlight. Then up here we've got ice, methane, ore, and silicon, crap sunlight. And then over here, we've got hydrogen, ore, and silicon, and also crap sunlight. So between the three, we've got everything we need right here. Cigaris has everything it needs in one spot, which is ideal. So this is going to be one of the areas that we take out. We're going to have to destroy both the equipment dock and the space lab and the defense platform. That's a lot of destruction. We are 30 with pioneers, so we might be able to come out the other side of it without being in a war state and be able to work our way back up with them. Or we might just take them out, because it looks like right now they only have 4 systems. The only thing that worries me about that is they are allied with the Terrans, and I am definitely not ready to kick that hornet's nest yet. And then over here, I want to take Tikva's Choice 3. Again, because it has helium, hydrogen, methane, ice, ore, silicon, and decent sunlight. We can actually copy our stations from where they are in boron space, because I fat-fingered on the station calculator when I put them in. They are overproducing energy cells. I put 217 and it's 271. So all that we would have to do to copy them in here is double the amount of solar panels on each of them, and most of them only have 1, so putting 2 in is not really a big deal. And then we should be able to utilize this space as well. And we only have to take out 1 Argon defense platform to take this space. So I've got a plot here that I'm going to try and build a defense platform that I want up before we take this one out, so that they can't just build another one. But first, I want to clean out this system again. And they do have a K in here, or they had. I think they killed it. I was really hoping to use the K to test our Boron fleet. That makes me disappointed. We're still going to send in the Boron fleet as a test. They are currently en route to Heretic's End to head through. So I've never made an all Boron fleet before. So what we've got going on is we have a shark, and that shark's got a shark can only field 16 at once instead of the 20 that a raptor can field. So we have 8 bombers and 8 interceptors. We're using Makos as bombers because they're smaller and lighter, and the Barracudas as interceptors because they are heavy fighters. And then we've got 3 rays backing up the shark. Each of the rays also has 2 threshers backing it up, set up as gunboats. And then we've got an orca for resupply and a sturgeon for trading for resupply. So we're going to see how that goes. I'm a little worried. It is smaller than my normal fleets, which is definitely a potential issue. And it's also doesn't have the kind of firepower that a normal fleet does. We also have 2 fleets. We have an assault fleet and we have a defense fleet. So we have the defense fleet parked here to protect from the Xenon incursion that's creeping towards us from the north. I'm kind of waiting for them. I'm hoping that they go across there first so that we don't have to deal with the Paranid. We can let them take that and then take it back fairly easily from the Xenon. But I want a defense fleet here so that they don't take out Heretic's End on us. And then we have our assault fleet, which is an Asgard. And then it has 3 Sins backing up the Asgard, attacking target. And then there are 3 rattlesnakes running defense for the Sins. That way the Sins will tank and the rattlesnakes will attack. Now with our weapon video, we did figure out that the Sins actually deal more damage than the rattlesnakes, so they're just kind of there for moral support at this point. And then we've got 2 katanas intercepting for the rattlesnake because they have problems with smaller ships, and the katanas don't. And then we've got our Raptor, which is defending the Asgard, which is kind of a joke, but it's mostly there because it's got the 10 for interception and the 10 for bombardment. We have an Orca running supply. Supply ship really doesn't matter. They're all more or less the same effect, speed for repairs. Docking might matter, but I really don't see it being a problem, especially since the Raptor can repair these 10 while they're on board. And then we've got a Heron trading for the Orca. So this one's our mismatch crew. Our defense fleet is the exact same thing. It's just for defense. Like when we go to take a new system, what I would do if we were to assault these guys is I would fly in with the assault fleet and start smashing. And then I would start building here because this system's hostile. So I would start building right outside this a defense platform with a claim on it, so that by the time the assault fleet was done, that would be good to go. And then before we push the assault fleet through to here, we would bring the defense fleet up to here so that it could defend the station while it was being built. And then basically just leapfrog from there. The assault fleet would come in here and start cleaning out. Once it got safe, we would start the build. We would move the defense fleet in, move the assault fleet to the next system, etc. Now, I want to start with taking this system, and I thought I was recording when I placed this, but I wasn't, so I just wiped the build and we will start from scratch. So what we're going to do with this one is we are going to put down, we have to have a dock of some kind, so we're going to use the luxury dock for the 14 small and 4 medium, just in case we want to dock here. We're going to put it more or less towards the very middle, and that looks pretty good. And we're going to go to our defense modules, and we're going to put down an administrative center. And what we're going to do with this guy is we are going to tip him over 90, because we want to keep him in tight. And then we're going to turn him another 90. We want to keep him in tight so that we can build a cage around him to keep him safe. And we're just going to put him on top because he's not going to interfere with anything that way. They can still dock. And then we're going to start building our defense. So we're going to put in a disc on either side. We are going to have to spin this one. And then we're going to try and arm these as we go. So from our prior defense platform, I've already put in turrets. So we've got ion flak for the large and shields. And then for the mediums, we've got the ion pulse turrets and shields because of DPS reasons. So that way it's all the way filled out, and it's much faster to edit the loadouts this way. But I'm hoping that when we copy, they will copy the loadouts as well so that we don't have to do this for each and every single one of them. That would be ideal. So we're going to turn this until both sides are green based on where we want to attach it. Now, the problem that I have with these is they are flat, and all of the guns are on the top of the bottom. And all of the guns are on the top of the bottom. So to offset that, we're going to turn this guy 90 degrees up. So that way he's got left and right covered. And I think that's going to be a little bit safer. I'm a little worried that these aren't going to be nearly as effective as my usual methods because they don't have access to the plasma turrets nor the flak turrets. And that definitely makes me a little bit nervous. We will do what we can. All right, so let's go through these 4. And we are going to do the same thing. So we're going to edit loadout and again preset. Same thing, flak for the large and pulse for the small. Then we will edit loadout. Edit loadout. Confirm. And edit loadout. Confirm. So we have these set up in order to where the docking is first and then the luxury dock. That's enough to clean the system. From there, just leaving a defense fleet over it so it's protected while it builds will take care of the rest for us. That's the reason that we set it up the way that we did. Was that all 4? Am I crazy? And then that's got a loadout, right? No, this one doesn't. Okay. Okay. So that's not going to be enough to defend this. So what we're going to do now is we're going to copy this module. Not module. We're going to copy this sequence. We're going to spin it. And then we're going to copy this. Come on. I hate when it decides that it knows what you're thinking and it's not right. We're going to copy this sequence. And then we're going to put it here. Oh. I think I botched that one. Nope. Just a hair. There we go. All right. And then what we could do, actually, let's see if these actually carried over their builds. Because if they did, they did. That makes our life so much easier. Okay, so we're going to just flat out cancel this one. And then copy this entire sequence. So that way we don't have to go through every single item on the list, because as you can see, it's going to get very big very quick. And now we don't have to worry about it. And we can also, because we don't have a lot of verticality going on right now, which I don't like. So we're going to take these and we're going to copy them and twist them. Yep, that works. And then twist them this way. Is that more or less straight up? It's a little over. We'll call that good. So that way we should be more or less covered every which way. I'm hoping. If this isn't enough, then something's gone horribly wrong. And this is probably not a viable method of defending. In which case we will have to get recipes from a different race just so that we can use the parts that we need. But I can't imagine this not being enough. Normally I use 4 discs and 2 bridges per disc. And that is enough with the other turrets, the standard turrets, to be able to easily defend against an entire fleet complete with K. And sometimes L. By itself with no fleet backing. So I'm hoping that this can do the same. If it can't, I really don't want to have to leave a fleet behind in every system. So we're going to have to come up with something a little bit different if it doesn't work that way. But I can't imagine this not being enough firepower. Sometimes it does jank things when you're building stations. We just kind of go with it. All right, so let's look at that. And if we confirm module changes, this is going to be horrible. Absolutely horrible. So we need... You know what? We're going to go ahead and print screen this. And we're going to make a fleet specifically designed to supply new defense platforms that supplies all of this over here from our other stuff. Because this will not be our last one. So it'll be nice to have the fleet already in place. This is going to be a monstrosity. It'll be pretty because it's all going to be boron, but it's definitely, it's like an angry porcupine. Maybe that's what I should name it, the angry porcupine. You know what? Let's do that. We're going to, rather than overriding system claim, we're just going to name it the angry porcupine. All right. So let's get a fleet set up. Oh, we also need to assign a builder, don't we? You know what would be hilarious if we make Arg build the station that's going to steal their system from them? It would have been better to use one of our own builders for it, but I just think it's funnier this way. It's basically the equivalent of making them dig their own grave, and that makes me smile. It probably shouldn't, but it does. All right, so we need a fleet for... Alt-tabbing for just a moment, sorry. So I need to pull up that image. All right, back in the game. So let's build a fleet. We need build ships for 1, 2, 8 parts. So we need 8 large traders. Ta-da! 8 traders. All right, and then I do want escorts for them. So we're going to make 16 large sins. Which is probably overkill, but that way even if they have to fly through dangerous space, it's not really a problem. And we might not have enough materials for this. We don't. We're short on Computronic substrate. But it will make the traders before it makes the sins. So we can at least put 1 sin per and then get them started and then build it out later. Now while that runs, because I want that station built before we actually attack. So what we are going to do is we are going to take our Station Smasher fleet, which is 5 Asgards. A little bit of overkill, but it is what it is. We're going to move them into position. So we're just gonna nonchalantly send them down here as if they're going to defend. They might get attacked. Right, we were going to send in the Boron fleet to test. So let's go ahead and do that. So we can... We'll keep you away from the station for now. I don't think they're going to be able to tackle that station. I think we are going to have to pull those 5 out and bust that station ourselves. But that's alright because they'll be right here. So they're super close. Rewards or diplomatic arrangements, huh? I feel like that's going to be the easiest to do because we can just straight up build those. Let's go ahead and accept that one. We need 3 Makos with 2 phase guns. Mark 1, Mark 1. Oh, we can't make Mark 1 stuff because we only took the Mark 2 stuff. I think we can with the weapons, but the engines we can't. Mark 1 engines, Mark 1 thrusters, Mark 1 shields. And arc guns, I think it was? If it's not, we can always change it. I mean, that's 2 million. We've got over 100 million. I'm not going to worry about it. We'll just buy it. It's easier than getting... Oh, it's phase guns. Phase guns, shield generator, and combat. Okay, so I completely borked that. And we can't cancel them. Alright, well, we'll just send them back in for refitting once they're done. And where are we delivering them? To the station that's no longer there. Gotcha. Alright, let's see where our fleet's at. Okay, they're still going. We need to refit all of these again because I can't follow simple directions, which checks out. Deliver the Boron fleet. Alright. I believe that's the one where we have to actually bypass the VIG to get water into their system, which is illegal in their system. And the easiest way to do that is they will absolutely scan any trader that comes in, but they cannot scan a ship that is docked to another ship. So the easiest way to do it is to get, like, the Boron carrier can hold, I think it's 3 medium ships. So fill 3 medium traders with water, dock them to that, and then send that in. They'll scan it, it's clean, but the things it's carrying aren't, and you get away with it. Oh, cool. The K is still there. You know what? Why don't we just smash this on our way by? We go into this. We can flip that. And now they'll hit that first and then go to where we told them to. Oh, you poor little ships. They seriously thought they could take on 5 Asgards. Live stream view. We are locked on. Okay. Oh no, now they're attacking them. Y'all gonna hit the station or what? Oh, there was a beam fire. Oh, they engaged the K. Oh, they took the K out. Did we lose anybody? Still 6 Threshers. Still 3 Rays. Still 8. We lost 3 Bombarders. That's all we lost, though, taking out a K. That's reasonable. My other fleet doesn't normally lose anybody, but I'm not super disappointed by that. If you want something done right, do it yourself.
Entering system. Atikva's choice.
We were hit.
Xenon defense platform. Danger. Danger.
So that took almost 30% of its health in one beam attack. Because the little lasers aren't actually hitting anything. But it already lost its first module. 2 strikes were enough to destroy the first module. And we're still not even in range for it to shoot back. There we go. Now our turrets are aimed at it like they should be. Module 2 down. They don't do a whole lot of damage, but it's better than none. And we're still out of range. We're still not being fired at, and this was a completed station.
We need to perform a transfer.
Transfer fleet.
Great work. This fleet will allow Antigua to familiarize its pilot with Boron hardware. Once the politicians ratify a follow-up agreement, I will ensure that you receive the announcement. Your mission manager will provide you with further tasks.
Alright, there's our quest completed with Atikva. Not bad for background while we're doing other stuff. I think the problem is I shouldn't have gone with the coordinated attack. I should have just told them all to attack. This is just sad. We're ignoring the fighters and they're still being wiped out. Are you guys actually doing something about this now? Thank you. Now the nice part about not being in system, if we were doing this out of system, is they would attack that without having to actually maneuver to where they could see it. But it's no big deal. I mean, it's kind of fun to pick a giant fleet to destroy stuff just cause. Just watch the whole points drain. That's amazing. And we still, like, they launch defense drones at us, but they haven't tried yet to actually shoot anything at us.
Requesting immediate backup.
Let's adjust again here. There we go. I'm seeing other beam slice now. It's only got 15 left, like 2 more beam strikes ought to kill it.
By the grace of Her Majesty, you are now receiving the royal broadcast from the Queendom of Boron. It is my honor and pleasure to announce Her Majesty Queen Polyphides.
I am really terribly sorry about that. It will not happen again. With parliamentary ratification complete, I am delighted to announce our newly established defense pact with the Hatikva Free League. Our queendom will now provide Boron military ships to the Free League, which will be used to patrol and protect Free League space and installations against intruders.
Excellent. Check the Free League off our list.
There's 4% hull integrity left. If anybody launches a beam at it, we're good. I probably should have brought in an assault fleet in general, rather than just the Boron fleet. Or waited and done this afterwards. Either way, way quicker to break a station than it is to build one, for sure. I almost feel like I should jump into one of the other ones and use their beam for them. He looked like he was down low.
Xenon defense platform.
So he should have an angle. He wasn't even pointed in remotely the right direction. It has 3% left. If we can hit one shot off, it's done. We can rake both parts too. I think we were too far away though. We were. That's my bad. Alright, let's try this one.
Xenon defense platform.
Okay, it looks like he's in range. And that was that. Yeah, I should have just hopped earlier. No biggie. I did claim these two. No real reason. There's not anything down here that's super nice. They're a nice little hidey hole to get out of the mainstream if you need to. But like the sunlight's kind of crap. They only have a handful of the materials that you need. Like they're not an ideal place. I would much rather take like Holy Vision or down here in Cardinal's Domain rather than up there. I just took them over because they were gray and now they're not. Now they're green. These guys should be, yeah, they're carrying on now. And how's our Boron fleet doing? They have 8 bombards. Oh, they didn't lose any bombards. They still have 8 and 8. I thought they lost a Mako. I guess not. No, they didn't lose anything. They took out a K and didn't lose anything. They are perfectly acceptable. Well, that being the case, maybe we have them come up here and defend the gate. They seem to make a decent defense force there. So the smaller you make the area for the defend areas, the less they will move around, so the more concentrated they'll stay by the gate. That way they don't get all spread out. As if we left it at 20, it would be a much larger area that they protected, sure. But anything coming through the gate would likely be able to get through their net before they were actually close enough to do anything about it. And normally, setting up a defend area like this is not a great idea because they won't attack until something else is attacked first. In this particular instance, though, it won't be a problem because we have things set up to intercept, so they will immediately go out and start attacking. And as soon as they start attacking, other things will start attacking as well. Alright, we might actually need to make that area a little bit bigger. Oh no, they're coming in. They're getting drawn in. It'll work. And just absolutely shredded. That's also going to cut off supply for some of those in the north that have been sending their mining ships down and through. They're not going to be making it through anymore. We have all of the traders now, but we are still missing 8 of the sins. I guess that's a sin each. Okay, so you're good now on repeat orders. So we're going to have you come to the energy cells. I'm going to have you buy from. Max price. Oh, right. Energy cells. Max price. Confirm. And the nice thing about these repeat orders is once we add new stations, we can just add sell orders to the bottom of this. And because this will be finished and won't be buying, it'll just skip that one. So we don't actually have to super maintain these for the rest of forever. I'm just going to go through and do that for the rest of these, one at a time. I'm not going to make you guys sit through that. So we have all of our trade ships set up now, and right now we're just checking out what the Boron fleet looks like in all its glory while it defends this gate. And the ship I chose to watch is barely participating in the battle, which is unfortunate. That's basically one trip from everybody. We might have way more Claytronics than we need. The amount that ships require really isn't that much, and one load's almost enough to build this entire station. And I tried to position it between the two gates, so that anything coming or going basically has to go right by the station. Now, with the station, we have the same issue of it won't just aggressively attack anything that's enemy. There has to be some kind of a combat nearby. So what we'll probably do is buzz it with a couple of laser towers, because they will attack anything, and they will trigger stations. That's how I used to do it in the split playthrough. Just drop a couple laser towers nearby, and that way anything on its way through triggers. If it doesn't directly attack this, i.e. if it's a mining Xenon ship or something, it'll trigger the laser tower, which will then trigger these. Eventually we're going to get to the point where we can move this, and we'll need this to stay claimed. But I don't know where I want to put it just yet. By the time that these stations are done, it might be better to put it here, because there's Navidium here too, and there's not in Boron space. And we're barely going to notice the ARG rep hit for this, unless they send a fleet after us. If they send a fleet after us, then it's going to get caught by these guys on its way through the gate, and that's going to seriously damage rep, at which point we might actually have an ARG war on our hands. Alrighty, so I will bring you guys back when something interesting happens. Alright, so it looks like it got far enough with one trip from everybody to get the dock and the administrative center finished, and the first disk. So that's awesome, which means that now the only thing standing in our way of owning this system is this right here. So we're going to go ahead and remove this order, and we are going to coordinate an attack. So what's our rep at currently with ARG? Should be, it's 22. This one's going to hurt. Worst case scenario, though, we touch off a war with ARG and it's no big deal. Oh yeah, only 2-1 hostile? This is going to be hilarious. As soon as that dies, we should be good to go.
We will not be subject to this. The Federation will lodge an official complaint.
Alright, how far did that drop us? Really? Full-on enemy, huh? Is that a temporary, or... Oh, reputation lost. Unauthorized kill. Current reputation -20. Nope, apparently that's permanent. And that was not enough to capture the system. Alright, well, we just started a war with Argon. If they want a war, we'll give them a war. I don't know which of these systems it is, so we're just going to destroy them all. Usually it's a temporary loss, not permanent like that. That's weird. Maybe they changed it up. This is one of their main mining zones, though, so I don't know that that was their best choice. We are going to have to do something about Morningstar. We have traders coming through there. That's going to be a problem. Alright, I'm not entirely sure how well this plan was thought through. We did say no save scumming, though, so I can't go back. We're committed now. Just distress zones. Drones aren't going to make it anywhere important. Yeah, this is going to be pretty one-sided. Alright, Boron supremacy has begun. There's got to be another defense platform here somewhere. I wonder if their builder's still hired on. Oh, I'm going to say no. Okay, so we're going to have to hire a new builder. They're no longer digging their own grave. They don't have nearly enough military might to prove any kind of a problem for us. The biggest issue, I think, is going to be our traders moving through a couple of sectors. So I think the easiest way to handle that is just going to be to clear those sectors, particularly these two. And we can actually send our defense fleet... Wait, did all of Boron go to war with these guys? Or did they already not get along? They're attacking somebody. Boron. Is somebody here not Boron? Oh, no, there's a ZYA. Ah, they had... Okay. This was their other target. Now, are they the only ones that we heard? Are we still good with Ant? Yeah, we're still alright with Ant. And that's why I called that fleet the Station Smashers. Because they just decimated everything on their path. And anything coming through the gates getting immediately taken out. Well, maybe not immediately. Some of them are getting through. Alright, so let's get ourselves a new builder. There we go, they'll make short work of that, and then he can come home however he wants. That's so one-sided. They're not even getting hit back. You don't even see any shields flashing. We're just gonna absolutely cripple their fleet by taking out all the stuff that supplies as well. Can I please select the refinery? Thank you. Yep, one of them got too close to the station. Oh, it's so satisfying. I just realized we cut them off at 2 very strong areas because 1, they come up here for mining, and 2, they send a lot of trade and mining through Xenon space to try and go up north, and they can't get through either one now because we have fleets parked at both. I didn't want to take out their last one until we had a base in place like we did in the first area, but I don't think it'll be an issue because who else is going to move in? Who died? We lost 2 sins. And some katanas. From who? That our assault fleet that lost them? And we just lost a heron. What the hell is here that can actually take our stuff out? Okay, we need to assess what actually happened here. We lost some ships in Argon Prime. Okay, must have come through here. We need to fix that. So we lost our Pegasus Vanguard, that's a problem. He was running loot for us. We lost the 2 katanas and the heron. And the heron was assigned to the orca. Then we lost 2 more katanas assigned to... So these 2 were commanded by the orca. And then the heron was lost, and he lost his katanas as well. I thought I saw it said that we lost a sin. We look at our fleets. This one's fine. The assault group's fine. This one's still got his 3 sins, and his 3 rattlesnakes, and his 6 katanas. Okay. This is still 10 and 10. That still has its orca, but it is now missing its trader. So we're going to need a new trader to replace that one, and then 4 new katanas to replace the katanas, and possibly 2 more sins if we can afford them. We're almost back down. Alright, so we need a new heron. I guess we can do a handful of katanas. 4? I was worried that we had lost one of our traders that was taking materials for the build, and it doesn't look like that was the case. Okay, well, looks like we're going to completely wipe them out. We're going to have to get cracking, though, on the station building so that Ant doesn't move in, or HOP or somebody else doesn't move in and take these before we can do something about it. That's where they got us. They got us on the way in. Until we've taken all of these out as well, we'll have to keep a couple of Asgards on hand to make sure that we smash any new stations that crop up. Like they've got one coming up here. There's nothing to it yet, but they're trying to build one. So the station smashing group up here is actually deviating to take that out next and then come back up here and finish their work. And at that point, I think they're just going to kind of hang out here. We'll probably have them fly and wait there at the end, just so that we don't get any nasty surprises from the north. I was not at all prepared for this to turn into a full-blown war with the Argons. Generally, when you smash a station, as long as it's just one, they go entirely enemy temporarily, and it says temporary reputation loss. And this time it did not. It did not say temporary. So that was kind of an oopsie. But we were in a place where we could handle it. We were just not as prepared as I would have liked to have been. I would have liked to have had a couple of extra fleets to cover some exits, just in case. But that's all right. We've got our new station building over here to try and get us off the ground with our computonic substrate. And I will try and get us some extra fleets to help push into Argon Prime and take the rest of Argon space. Once we take this, we can take these 2 easily enough too. Again, not really going to build here. We wanted this one for building at Tikva's Choice 3, and we really want this one for building. I had intended to take this Pioneers first before we did anything with the Argons, but that did not shake out the way that I was hoping. If you guys learned anything useful today, or if you had a good time, please don't be afraid to drop a like. If you're feeling friendly, maybe go ahead and subscribe. But either way, have a fantastic rest of your day, and we will catch you next time. Thanks for watching.